if you change, you will heal the world. I know that sounds like the most ridiculous statement because you will first question how could you have that kind of impact on the world and how could you have that much influence and power to help change the world? And that is the problem that we all have, especially right now as we're looking at our world and seeing what's going on and questioning why is this all happening? So I'm going to tell you a story. Yesterday, I was really sick. I said, I've got to just chill out. Well, actually, last couple of days. And so when I started feeling that yesterday, and I'm talking to my associate Stan, I said, oh, that means I have to move to another level of who I am because I also understand mind body connection. And most times when I've gotten sick, when I felt these things, it's because I was resisting something. That is basically the mind body connection. You could heal anything in your body. And so, and I've known this, but also believing that is really challenging for most of us. Louise Hay, if you know Louise Hay, she wrote this book called You Can Heal Your Life. And I had to think about her because we've been on similar, we were, let's say, because she's no longer in this form. She's made her transition, but we had similar backgrounds. She was raised as a Christian Scientist, and so was I. But then we also had all kinds of physical problems. We have physical things that we had to move through. So it's not one size fits all. It's different for everybody because every single person has a divine plan, as I call it. It's something they're supposed to live. And if they do that, not only will they make a contribution in their lives, leave these really, really great lives, but make a difference in our world. Because, see, we're always evolving as individuals, as the world, and as civilizations, and we are moving through an evolutionary change now. So as I said this yesterday to my associate, I said, I'll be fine tomorrow. I know it because I have to own this and take the next step. This is a process of your mindset. This is a process of you moving through a limitation, a restriction that has existed in your DNA that you're meant to move through and live this really great life. That's what we're all doing. Mine was to give this work to everyone, but it was still challenging for me because it was brand new. I didn't know what I was doing or what I was creating. None of us do. We never know what we're doing, what we're creating while we're doing it. And we look back later and go, wow, I've done something. Maybe I can give that to the world. See, because that's the legacy that every person can leave the world if they figure out why they're here. We don't live in these bodies forever. So we have a limited amount of time to get something done. And when I looked up Louise Hay, I said, how old was she when she died? She was 90. I said, okay, I have a little bit, I have a little bit of time. Maybe I can get it done now. See, because she wrote her book and I still have the book called Your Life Operating Instructions, which is a philosophy that I created through my life. And I haven't written it yet, but I'm going to do it before. I'm going to get it done. I'm making all of these kind of, how can I say, not deadlines, but goalposts, for instance, before I get to my 73rd birthday in November, because I'm going to have so much more of this done because I've been hiding out. So when I got up this morning, I said, oh, wow, I do feel better. And then I went to look at the message that I was given in 2020, because, see, I was told that I was given a guide, which I call an ascension guide, because that's what we're all doing. We're moving through lower vibrations that exist within us and moving to a higher state of understanding so that we can live great lives and then we contribute to the world, meaning we create a much better world. And that's what we're all up to doing. But I put something on the my site today. I wrote a message this morning. I do this every single morning. I've done it for more than 35 years. And this is what has done everything. Because, see, you can't change anything unless you're willing to take the time to do a deep dive into who you are, unless you're willing to move through the restrictions and the doubts and the fears and all of that you've had. That's really surprising too, because I also started another little series of emails I'm sending out about fear. Because, see, in 2019, when I wrote the book, Overcoming Fear, A Guide to Freedom, I knew we were leading to this time in our world and people were going to be really afraid. You don't have to be when you start to go inside and uncover who you are and move through the restrictions. But see, it's going to take a while because not everyone is going to do that. And then we have the collective world that we have to deal with, and especially in the United States, which no one could understand why I was saying that 3 years ago. That I got to tell you, that was probably the most challenging thing for the last several years, because as I said before, I received precognitive information, and we have to get rid of our ideas of time, linear time, and because there have been many people, you can go on a whole deep dive and understanding of this, but there are many people who've come before who talked about that particular illusion. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this message to you because I want you to see it. What's on my site, Any Advice for Today, is a little different because I always receive new information in the morning. But I'm going to go back to the original one on September 6th, because see, the other thing I was given, you all have intuition, you can listen to yourself and you'll find this, but I was told that I was given this information for this particular time in our world because it's going to look a little crazy and people are going to be a little afraid, but if they decide to own and love who they've become and honor their gifts and talents, then the world becomes different. And I was just given something to help guide others, that's all. And I'm still doing it as well. We're never done. We're always evolving in our consciousness, and there's always another level. No matter how much success you may have achieved, you have more that you could do. And if your success is about creating something that's for the good of all, wow, this period is going to be so beneficial for you. But first, we have to move through the doubts, the fears, the judgments, the old limiting belief that we've had within ourselves. So let me show you the message, and I'll read it to you so you can kind of get a sense of this. And it was kind of fascinating for me as well. Let me just say that. Okay. See, it was September 6th, 2020. If you change, you will heal the world. If that statement sounds too grandiose to you, you have uncovered the source of the difficulties you have experienced in your life. You are witnessing the results of your actions playing out in your world, and specifically the United States. We told you your world was undergoing a massive restructuring, and the only manner in which that may manifest is through you. Each of you has felt insignificant in your lives in some way or at some time. You each can recognize specific characteristics or qualities you have that feel to you to be problems, challenges, or insecurities. Those very things are the ones you have attempted to eradicate for quite a while, and you knew this time in your earthly experience would be the most suitable time for you to heal those wounds, for that is what they are. But you also fear and resist change. And that is the conflict that is currently on grand display in the United States. But we assure you, this condition also holds the healing you seek, and it begins with you. We told Roger to do his job, as we have said to each of you. We also said the surprising thing about that is your job is the thing most natural to each of you that you have ignored. It means honoring every aspect of you. Roger cannot honor his job, which was to be love, because that seemed like a feminine characteristic, which is indeed needed in the world now precisely, and the United States, basically. Now, if he can own this for himself, he will experience his healing, as will the world. We wanted that entire paragraph to feel like the most grandiose and verbose statement we might make, because your only challenge in this life has been not believing it. But now you will. Be patient. That was the message. And then if you look at what happened in the United States today, and there'll be so much more over the next several days, it's an energetic shift that we're moving through. But you can't change things that you're not willing to look at. And we're talking about a country or the world. And that is what's happening in the world. But the way that you counteract that is become happy, is become successful, is become prosperous, become the person that can make a difference. Because when you change and own who you are and stop doubting yourself, then that's a different energetic contribution that you make to the world, which we can all do. And I understand holding back because I've done that for so long, so I get it. But I can also guide anyone to who they're supposed to be, and that's for sure. But anyway, I'm doing a workshop on the 23rd. It's not a workshop, masterclass, whatever you want to call it, because I want to really explain this process, because it is a journey. The thing that probably gets me a little frustrated is when I see people trying to do things in their life, trying to accomplish something when they have not connected what they're doing to their soul mission. And that's, everyone has one. And so that's what this workshop is. Um, about you connecting to why you are in the world. There are no humans that were ever born that did not have that meaning and purpose to bring into the world. You can call it whatever you like, a divine plan, a blueprint, whatever it is. Every single person has it. And when we do that and we let go of the old ideas, then we start to prosper. And so that's what this is about. That workshop is called the workshop that will change your life. And it will, because you'll understand so much more, because I'm going to reveal so much more doing that. I'm going to give you some tips and some things that I've used over all of these years to get to this place of fully accepting who I am. That's the difficulty. And the message you'll see today is that self-acceptance is always a solution. That's a solution in your life, and that's a solution in our world. We just haven't gotten there. See, 60 years ago, I wasn't accepted in certain places because I was a Black person. That's not this case now, but it won't always be that unless we start owning more of our inherent worth and value and ability to be in the world. And then when we heal, and healing, as was used by my guides, is not about some physical thing. It's about coming together and owning each of us individually, then the world as a whole, and then eventually have something very different. We're in process. All right. Hope this helped you guys. See you soon.